once again, the most popular stream for the International has the greatest casters. You just had Cap and Blitz. Now you got Toby and Sind. What more could they ask for? Number 4. Because 4 is the greatest position ever.
4 is the best number.
I bumped into the real 4. Havos was walking down the corridor.
Maybe he's on the Russian 4 stream.
Maybe.
Do they have 4?
They got the same. They got the same amount as us.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you wish to, for all Russian viewers, привет.
Butchered that one. Good job.
Did I? I don't know. I just roll my R's and hope I sound Russian.
You didn't.
I didn't? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
really.
too Australian.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, Winstrike, LGD.
Yep.
We got ourselves a good game to cast. Everyone's
Absolutely.
almost ready to go, but we wanted to come on and have a talk to you.
Because we have an important...
Because we have a camera.
We have an important message for you guys.
What's the important message?
I don't know.
Don't do drugs, kids. Important message.
We're starting. That's great.
Yeah.
But
that's a good
we were
message.
thinking could very quickly just talk about the teams before we got into the draft because
PSG.LGD
we cast both of these teams yesterday.
We did.
Saw Winstrike play against IG, which was our last game of the night,
Yep.
and we had PSG.LGD against OG as our first game.
It was
Or
the first.
second one?
It was the first series
I
we
think it was
cast.
the first one we had. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely, we got to see both teams play. LGD drew with OG, and Winstrike won 2-0 against IG, and they played very different styles. So I'm expecting to see more of that. Winstrike were first phasing Undying.
Yeah, they were first phasing Undying. I think they also got a little lucky with their last pickup because they were the team that didn't have the Invoker banned against them when it was like the sweet spot pickup that Iceberg just destroyed on.
And we saw another great pick from OG yesterday with Invoker too. They got a last pick Invoker as well against LGD actually.
Yeah,
Oh, they're
that's
gonna
true.
ban Undying. There you go. Done their homework. They don't want to face that. Winstrike's absolutely highest rated hero against IG. They first picked it in both games or first phased it. And they just don't want to have to bother with that.
I'm actually interested in like how LGD approaches today because this is something I actually want to touch on with the top 3 teams, and we put a lot of pressure on them at TI because it's like it's going to be LGD, Team Liquid, as well as Virtus Pro, teams which have dropped games throughout the entire group stage, the first day of the group stage. But LGD so far have not even got a 2-0. They have 3 1-1s. They've got 3 draws in all of their series. They just can't dominate a full series out yet, which is it's dangerous going into the playoffs.
Well, as long as you can win the third game.
As long as you, yeah.
Although, if you do start in the lower bracket, you have a best of 1. So that is definitely if you're a team that wins like every second game, starting lower bracket is really scary. So.
And this is a really hard group too, because you got EG who have come in looking a lot stronger this tournament. Fnatic and Mineski for the SEA teams have also stepped up there at 3-1 and 3-3 at the end of day 1 or at the end of the round, first round of today as well. So SCA's coming in there, and LGD at the moment are tied with Mineski on the edge of that upper bracket, lower bracket. So there is the risk that one of the top 3 will actually end up in the lower bracket in the best of 1 eliminations.
Definitely could happen.
But let's look at this game anyway. So no IO, we won't have the IO gyrocopter. I'm actually very happy for this. And LGD open with Weaver.
Winstrike's
That's
Very specifically targeting their opponent. They ban the Undying and they pick the Weaver that I think Nongrata played both games yesterday as well.
Yeah.
It was 2 pretty similar drafts from Winstrike where some elements were changed, but the way they played the game and the way they won was very similar. They got Roshan, and then IG fought them afterwards and lost twice. And that was really the defining moment. This was a hero we saw from Winstrike yesterday as well, the Necrophos.
Yep.
I think teams at this point it was still early on in the tournament, but we've seen multiple ways of countering Necrophos that have been very effective. So I don't know if I would consider this hero an absolute first phase pick like this, just because he has lane counters and he has plenty of support counters. Especially that's the problem, because if you pick at core early, you don't want to have to struggle with the position that the enemy wanted to pick anyway. Like you first picked Weaver, LGD want to pick a support now. So you're just giving them key information. Good examples of supports that are great against Necrophos are Shadow Demon, Oracle, Silencer. All 3 are very good. Silencer's banned. I imagine we'll see LGD maybe grab the Shadow Demon for X-Nova, or Oracle is a possibility.
Yeah, SC's getting more work, but I kind of want to touch back into what you're talking about with Necrophos getting picked up in the first phase.
It's an alternative route.
like we had so many conversations yesterday of like, oh, where do we put the Necro first now? Because he's being countered in the mid, so now he's going to run an off lane. What's going to be a great combination with the Necro in the off lane? What was Undying and Necro together was what Winstrike were looking to do. Like, it seems a problematic first phase pickup, even though it has multiple options. It just seems to get
10
counted as you go through the draft.
remaining.
But you get Phoenix pickup from LGD.
It still is a solid pick, but I
5
think
seconds
it's
remaining.
way better in the position that Phoenix was just picked in. Like, if it's the last pick of the first phase, I think Necrophos can still be really strong because you pick into 2 bans, and you can ban out the worst options that you really don't want to face, and then whatever counters remain that you let through, you can plan for with your remaining cores. But LGD did go for a Phoenix pickup, so the one thing that Winstrike don't have currently is any way of killing the egg. These 2 heroes have horrible attack speed. Both Shaker and Necrophos are bad at killing the egg.
And we had Mirana picked up twice against Phoenix yesterday.
Definitely could be a pick that Winstrike will look towards in this game as well. But
PSG.LGD
Phoenix is also a good hero against
turn to
Necrophos.
ban.
Tons of magic damage against Ghost Shroud. So they just need to have a way of forcing the Ghost Shroud, and Phoenix will get the job done. Even if you have Hood on Necro, this Phoenix hurts so bad. So it's a fine pick. It's another support that's good against Necro. There's plenty of those. So but we'll see what Winstrike do. One of the classic counters to Phoenix has also already been banned out.
10
So PSG
seconds
LG
remaining.
they don't even need to waste a ban on Silencer because they've already banned it first phase.
5
Yeah.
seconds remaining.
That definitely helps.
Keeps him secure. I'm interested to see like how LGD wrap up the rest of their lineup, because this, like, Phoenix can obviously go into Nova, Weaver can time less, but most of these are very timely based. Like Silencer, as you said, was going to interrupt most of that. But how do they guarantee this comes off? Like, who is still their frontliner for
Yeah.
LGD? And a frontliner that's able to deal with the Necro, because that's like those high HP heroes, Necro just loves to rip them apart unless they've got a large amount of magic resistance. So who becomes LGD's frontliner? Who's a good hero to play against Necro?
Winstrike
Classic
turn
pairing
to
with Phoenix
ban.
will be Dragon Knight, but I just don't like it against Necro, so I don't think they should go that route.
Yeah.
Somnus does play the hero, but I feel like LGD are at their best when Somnus is playing a snowbally, just strong spellcast mid hero. I think those are his absolute best. He has a great Ember, he has a great Leshrac,
Like,
Storm Spirit, those heroes. He did play Lesh yesterday, and that hero is actually not bad against
10
Necrophos at
seconds
all, I would
remaining.
say. Mixed damage types, lots of magic.
what about getting something
5
like a
seconds
Lena pickup
remaining.
who's still available?
Lena's
in the
fine,
pool?
absolutely. He played that yesterday too. We did have a game with that.
Because then
Good
I'm
hero against
feeling
Necro.
there's actually a little bit more reliable stun initiation that can come from your mid, and that mix of physical and magical damage.
Yep, Lena's definitely a good hero against Necrophos too. So could for sure see that come out. Wraith King ban, by the way, from Winstrike is it's been a pick LGD has gone for multiple times in their second phase, so getting rid of that is fine. And LGD with the Lycan ban. They saw what happened yesterday to IG. They don't want to risk running into this kind of death ball almost Lycan timing that Winstrike had with. They had one game with Necro Lycan, I believe it was. Was Necro in their team in that game? It was. I think so.
I believe so.
Yes, that was the first game. They had Necro Lycan, and then the second game, IG took Necro first pick, and they went for the Invoker route instead. that game, with
10 seconds remaining.
with Sound on Drow. That was what it was in the last game.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Oh, that's right, because we
remaining.
had the Drow Ranger who just had like insane damage and working with the Necro.
Yep.
Actually, was that? Yeah.
It was against the Necro in the
We
game.
actually had like 4 Necro games out of our 6 I think we had yesterday.
There was a lot of Necrophos for sure.
Yeah. We're always looking for the site. That's why we kept
He-
looking at SDs.
He
as the
wasn't
other
doing too
pickup.
hot. Did he even win?
Um,
Well, he won the first game for Winstrike.
I think it was 50-50.
He lost the second game for IG. He lost the second game for LGD against OG.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember what the last time it was picked was.
10 p.m. after a 12-hour day. No, I do not remember for you, I'm afraid. But
I'm not sure what we picked there.
yeah, we did see SD picked up a lot against him, but Disruptor
That's
will be the pickup. First time we get him, but not the first time on stage today. VP actually just lost with
true.
the Disruptor.
Did play it. Yeah, this hero is a classic CIS pick. The teams have players on it that have played it for years. Always Want to Fly is one of the really good Disruptor players. It's a great hero against Weaver and Phoenix in theory, but it's one of those really
remaining.
timing-based spellcast heroes against these, because
5
Weaver is a
seconds
double-edged sword
remaining.
too. Like, you can't really catch Weaver in the field if he is Shikushing aggressively,
Yeah.
because if you want to drop Field Storm on him, he's so fast he'll probably get out of it, and you can't use the glimpse to catch him if he is the aggressor. You need to be the team that's chasing him away, because then the glimpse is super effective at bringing him into the field.
Yeah, if they had to chase it like we saw Rubik versus Weaver yesterday, and like
Yes.
you still Shikuchi, you can have the telekinesis grab, and you can keep up pace with
Yes.
the Weaver.
But even that is actually another great example of the double edge almost, where if Weaver goes first in with Shikuchi and then drops the bugs on you, you can steal the swarm, but you're dead.
Winstrike's
It doesn't,
turn to pick.
you're not going to manage.
Oh.
Disruptor also good against the Phoenix if you're the aggressor. Glimpse Phoenix back. When it's using Icarus dive, you catch it in the storm, it dies. But if Phoenix dives in, it's a lot harder to land that storm.
This lineup looks so difficult to kill from LGD. Like you want to go after the Phoenix. He's going to have no Icarus dive. It's surprised to slow you
10
down in your
seconds
attack. Weave's got
remaining.
time lapse and maneuverability. Bane is just a real stubborn support, able to take out so much life. And now Ursa Warrior comes in. But can he still fight a spot? Like, you're still going to have Nightmare and Fiend's Grip. You've got many ways to actually hold out the Ursa when he's inside the Enrage.
I'm not sure how much I like this pick. I think Winstrike just like, we need something that kills Supernova, but I don't know if Ursa was the choice. I find Weaver to be a pretty good matchup for Weaver. Bane, I enjoy playing against
10
Ursa because
seconds
it's so rewarding to get either of your two spells
5
off on an Ursa that
seconds
jumps in.
remaining.
Like if he has Enrage running and gets Nightmared or Gripped, it feels like a really good fight already.
Oh, really?
And now they go Drow, so they got
We
4
have
range.
a 4-range lineup with a Drow Ranger buff up. So it's the same thing that Winstrike did. It's LGD are literally hitting them with their own stick.
Yep.
So Weaver off lane, Phoenix is that support, Bane support, Drow Ranger, then we just need the mid.
I think they might run Bane with the Weaver. That's a pretty
10
strong lane,
seconds
actually.
remaining.
Phoenix Weaver is a bit more...
I'd
depends-
I'd
it
be
depends what
concerned
they're
about.
facing.
I'd be
Seconds
like
remaining.
worried about who's on the off lane. Like you still need the Bane to protect the Drow Ranger, and Nightmare will protect a lot better than Phoenix Sunray.
It actually depends on the matchup. Sometimes Phoenix is the better defensive support with Fire Spirits if you have the right heroes that you're facing, because then you can shut them both down,
I
right?
suppose there'll be more lane presence too, right? Because then the Drow Ranger can actually ensure her CS.
Yes. Both combinations are fine. So it depends what they expect to be facing from Winstrike. And Winstrike have kind of largely shown their hand as the Quaswex Invoker ban. They've shown a lot here with the Shaker Disruptor support duo and these two cores that they've shown. It's probably going to be a Shaker playing around the off lane. And Drow, that's bad for Drow when she gets fissure locked and the guy who's in the lane can actually kill her. But right now, does Shaker Ursa sound appealing? I don't think so. I don't think that's a good lane. It's not
10
going to
seconds.
Not
win that
again,
lane.
not against a Drow Ranger, because you just cold arrow and you just kite.
And she doesn't
and
care about
anytime you
Necro.
jump in,
5
you're going to get
seconds
Nightmare
remaining.
anyway, or gusted back. There's different ways that Drow Ranger can play around this.
I think she has solutions to everything that is there right now.
Yeah.
So
And I think if LGD gets something like that Lena pickup I was discussing about mid lane before, like, you've got more stun lockdown because you need the mid lane to have a stun. That's one real thing that LGD just do not have.
Good ban.
And the Brood taken out.
that's a really good ban. They needed to ban that hero. It's one of the absolute hardest counters to Drow. It is unplayable. Really, really, really tough lane. And, oh well, even if you're not laning against her, it gets tough in the game after Brood starts taking over the jungle. Because Drow wants to farm the jungle or farm the lane safely, and she can just get dove by spiders, and she doesn't have a counter at all. It's really tough.
All right, LGD. Actually, I kind of think as I talk about Lena that they still need a DK. But they go with
Storm.
Storm
You know what?
Spirit.
I was considering this. I was looking at it. And I was thinking maybe like Storm, but I didn't want to pitch it because I'm not sure if I feel it being the best choice in this game. There is
why
Fissure.
do you sway?
There's Fissure. There's Echo. There's Glimpse, which pierces the ball lightning, so you can always glimpse Storm away or glimpse him back in if he has to escape. And there's a counter
10
pick, last pick here
seconds
for
remaining.
Winstrike. Storm has some bad lane matchups that they could try to take
5
advantage of. He
seconds
will have Drower though,
remaining.
that it helps a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what the choice is going to be here. I would imagine.
Yeah, how do you do this? Like, you're going to get jumped, you're going to get chased, and you're going to get pushed really early on from LGD.
On the flip side, though, if you look at it this way, if they want to counterpick the Storm Spirit, we end up with a good Drow lane, right? Because we just looked at all the options that Winstrike had, and we felt like nothing counters Drow. So
Yep.
if you counterpick the Storm mid, you put any of your first 4 against Drow, and she will be fine, I think.
How do you feel like Necro versus Storm? Like, is that an okay lane for Winstrike?
Yes, that's Necro favored.
Yeah.
I would say it's Necro favored.
So then
sure.
you just have to, maybe they actually just look to fill in the off lane.
They could do that. They could put Necro mid. They've done it for Iceberg multiple times, so at least I think so. No, never mind. We only saw one Iceberg Necro game yesterday, actually.
Well, the choice is from Winstrike. It's Lina.
They do counter-pick mid.
So the pick put on the other team than I thought it was going to be. And something nice and strong to burst down the Storm Spirit.
So both lineups look good. I kind of like LGD a little bit more if the lanes just go fine, because I feel like they're going to hit this timing where they have a ridiculous amount of damage, and they have the lockdown to go with it. They have Fiend Script, they have Storm Spirit with the... The spell name is eluding me right now.
Which one?
Electric Vortex, there we go. They have the control from Gust, but this Lina is a secondary way of killing Supernova, so let's not underestimate that. Now they have two heroes that have really good attack speed against FY's Phoenix. But overall, yeah, this could be a really good game, because I'm looking at LGD's timing, which is really strong, and at the same time, I see for Winstrike, if things go right in the early laning stage, they definitely have what it takes to run at the Drow. It was only the lane we were focused on, but when you think beyond the laning, Ursa with a dagger is a really dangerous thing for Drow. They have Fissure, they have Glimpse to bring her back, so she has to be really careful.
I think we're also going to have some nice combat around the pit. Like, Winstrike are obviously going to be looking to grab Roshan a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's where Storm Spirit can really play to a strength. Same, even with Chalice, like Swarm can check out, FY can check out, and I don't know if Winstrike are able to keep the momentum, but they do have great ways to punish heroes who come out a little bit too far. Even just dropping the Scythe to hold someone in position so Silent can wreck them with claws. It's, yeah, I'm liking how both sides have a lot to play with.
Yeah, it's a good Roche line from LGD too, so they don't only want to contest and see the pit, they can kill it really fast too with Drow and Scarabs. The Swarm. This should be really interesting. I'm curious to see what the laning is really from Winstrike, what they consider the best option. They do have Nangrada on the Necrophos, so I'm imagining he will go toward that off lane, but
yeah, he is. He'll head towards the off lane. Iceberg will play the Lina in mid.
Prepare
and then
for battle.
Silent safe lane with the supports where we'll find out where they go later, but always want to fly Disruptor, no fear ES. Safe lane Drow Ranger, what a surprise. He'll be moving with X-Nova, off lane Weaver Chalice, FY's Phoenix, and then a Somnus on the Storm Spirit. Has he got the good egg? Yeah, he's got the sunny side up egg, so FY already wins as Phoenix. What the hell is... Okay, now they got that out of their system.
nice.
You see the Necro set as well? I never realized that Necro can have a toothy grin. He looks like a hamster.
Yeah, this is one of the newer sets, I think, actually, the Mirrored Divine.
Looks very cool.
It's a rat set.
It's a rat.
It is truly a toxic rat. That's what it is.
It's Splinter. That's what it is.
Yeah, true.
Actually, it really does looks like an evil version of Splinter.
Bad Splinter.
Bad Splinter.
Like Bad Fallen.
Well, it's like every great cartoon of the day. Like you got to play up against the bad version of you. Like the Shadow Splinter. He's Shadow Splinter. That's what he is.
I consider more of a toxic Splinter this one, but yeah,
Runes.
I see the similarity.
Winstrike's gonna
like
get.
2 for 2.
Actually, they should take. Okay, yeah, they will.
Oh, lots of pressure on Silent bottom.
Body block is there from FY. He got Icarus dive to begin with, so Silent will run back underneath the tower, and Disruptor begins his TP in.
That's a flask already. Disruptor does have a flask too for him though, so they have plenty of regen to work with in this bottom lane. And the mid lane, as expected, Iceberg versus Somnus, the Lina favorite matchup here. Storm is okay though. Like he's not going to enjoy this lane very much. It will be difficult, but he always has the option of going jungle when necessary.
I think he's very happy with the fact he's even got the creep wave up the hill, as No Fear just sits underneath that dire Observer Ward, ready to Fissure block him in, just so Iceberg can harass him as well. But it's taking too long. They're not finding what they need.
Somnus had that great Observer Ward just protecting him the whole time, so he knew exactly what was going on.
And actually have two very defensive wards. Right, so you got that one defensive ward from the top, so you can see the rotation of the ES off the lane. But you get another one, which is right next to their own bounty route.
Yep. It's I think this is the kind of warding that you want against Shaker. You just want to see the movements. If you know he's coming, you can play accordingly.
Does he actually, well, do they commit to this? He's still got Icarus dive available, so he'll dive down and into the creep wave FY. That's a lot of damage to take. Always Want to Fly, 30 HP, and with a Thunder Strike, it looks like Always Want to Fly is going to be the one to spill the first blood onto FY. That was a heavy commitment for a level 1 Phoenix.
Yeah. He must have felt very confident he could get that kill, but in reality, he wasn't even that close. Always Wanna Fly had a salve that he could have used in between attacks as well. So, bit of a mistake there from FY. Consolation prize is full refill and a Blightstone for his Weaver. This is something you'll be seeing all tournament. Players are...
Are you trying to say that FY's first blood giving to the Disruptor was intentional in a way?
Not really. They're just making the best out of the situation.
FY has Icarus dive away again.
But you'll see players take advantage of deaths turning into courier. It will be used a lot.
He's spriting away at Silent. He'll have to go for the instant clamp. Chalice with the attack, and no, Silent's got a couple of stick charges up his sleeve. But Chalice is the one who's in real trouble. Has to Fairy Fire to actually make up for the Thunderstrike damage of Always Wanna Fly. FY has no more sprites to throw. Always Wanna Fly was still affected by one of them, however, and Shikuchi, Chalice, he runs in and he realizes he's still in vision. There's a Sentry Ward down for Winstrike, so they have very clear vision of where Chalice is Shikuchiing around.
Ursa had a decent amount of sticks there. He had more than I thought, but I didn't check that he even had a stick in the first place, so it looked like it could have been a kill for LGD. I wonder if they were aware how many sticks Silent had, but obviously when you're playing against Weaver, you will get a decent amount of charges when the Shikuchi spam comes out, so...
Oh, this is just a dream lane now for a Drow Ranger. The fact that the mid lane turned into a dual lane, both Bane and ES moved in towards the mid lane to try and change the balance up. The CS isn't really that different between them, as Always Wanna Fly can just deny himself out.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that Ame has solo experience against Necro, and he's getting heavy harassment in early on too. I don't know, I always just see a Drow Ranger having space like this a dangerous thing.
It is dangerous. You really want to shut down Drow laning, but it feels to me like Winstrike don't have the tools. They couldn't have put their lanes in a meaningful way that could have done that. Mid lane.
He doesn't have light. Actually, he does have Light Strike Array.
I think Iceberg could have gone for that actually.
Yeah, he had the mana because the bottle, when No Fear TP'd in, he did the normal bottle refresh.
He did the slave first instead. That was a bit strange.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Odd to say the least.
He might have felt like he didn't have the range. Like it's possible he thought he couldn't make it in time. Just
Silent. In a little bit of trouble. He's got to get this Swarm off him at the moment because that's too much negative armor, just allowing Chalice to rip him apart. In fact, the Swarm's going to get the kill. That's why FY and Chalice turn their attention to Always Wanna Fly. Perfect double kill for the off lane. Makes up for the death of the first blood down there.
They're really low on health now, so they're going to have to ferry down regen. The courier is plenty of regen on it. It's going to go to Somnus first, it looks like.
That's got so much regen. We've got 2 salve, 2 sets of tangos, the end of a Wraith Band, and infused raindrops. It's pretty chockers.
Somnus is going to get his blast. It's going to get broken here.
Now they get the Light Strike Array. And Somnus, no Ball Lightning just yet. They may try and dive this. Light Strike Array is coming off cooldown right now with a TP in from Bane. Light Strike Array connects over onto Somnus. Not only get that kill, but have the spill damage go into X-Nova, and No Fear. He's Nightmaring to try and just delay it, but it won't be enough. Iceberg with a double kill in mid. An LGD. That is not what they want to have happen. As an understatement, obviously. Fissure, Control, Phoenix, FY. Another Sprite, hits one, need to hit one. And Iceberg's got the distance and the Shrine available.
When you said hits one, did you mean hits none?
Yes. I was preparing for the, what never came.
Yeah, it looked like FY had a chance to land those, but it's difficult when there's fog and you don't know exactly how Lena's running. But Iceberg with the really nice spellcasting mid, by the way. He's landing every LSA that he's trying for, and that's so important when these Shaker rotations come in. It's what gives the kills. He had that one time when he didn't cast the LSA, but the ones he's thrown out have definitely been on the money, so very nice for him. Quick phase boots pick up here. Interesting to see that. Will be very, very strong early on.
Yeah. You turn him into, like, how do you
Didn't
actually build that? When you have like a Drow Ranger on your team, I can imagine that you can just go your normal stuff, but with early phase boots, like, you just turn yourself into just this heavy physical hitting, like Lena build.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to go phase boots by any means. I find it a bit surprising that he didn't at least get a stick against Storm. He's going very, very aggressive on his build.
Bottom lane
Nice
Silence
to
dead.
see,
Actually totally dead. They just can't fight back. They can't attack back. FY's got never-ending sprites, and Chalice just puts the swarm on them, and they can't attack the spirits on them.
His bottom lane's over. Draws level 6. Way too strong. Weaver hits for 120 damage.
Radiant's bottom
Phoenix
tower
hits for how
is
much?
under
Almost
attack.
100. And you add the level 3 spirits on top of that.
Fissure
it's
on
way
mid.
too much.
Winstrike array will connect, and Bane will fall.
Dire's
Double
middle
damage
tower
rune
is
allowed him
under
to get the
attack.
kill without having to commit the Laguna Blade. FY should be a little careful. It's a 450 nuke available to Iceberg. Combine that with the 310 of the Dragon Slave.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They got the mid tower.
This is a really good time to get the tower for
Dire's middle
Lina.
tower is under attack.
You want to get it though, guys.
Yeah.
Guys.
FY is waiting for it. No fears having to take the damage. He'll come back in, and
Need to get it.
they did, but now Charles will make his move. Fissure stun, follows into the Phoenix, and No Fear is dead. 4 heroes from LGD. Kind of feels worth it though.
Maybe wanted to rotate in here anyway on the Storm so he can get the farm in the lane. But yeah, apart from that, I would say a slight over-rotation. They were too late to defend the tower, so then you generally don't want to bring this many heroes to kill support, but it's something. They got something out of it.
Nongrada's about to hit his level 6. Obviously, he's a long way off the draw range and can't stand in the lane against her. But
It's tough. I feel like when Necro loses his side lane, the hero is relatively weak. And he's losing it big time. He has 23 CS to the 52 of Drow. Oh, it's
always on fly.
There's no way, man. Like, who goes bottom? I'm just thinking, you look at this Winstrike lineup, who can play this lane?
Even if you send Iceberg down there, he can get a couple of kills, but then Charles Netfire comes straight back again. And
I think
it's
Iceberg
the same
just dies
scenario.
down here. If he doesn't hit the LSA on Weaver, Weaver almost solos him. It's really, really dangerous. At least Silent gets his level 3, or level 6, sorry. So he has the Enrage available.
At least one way to break free, or at least reduce the damage output.
Yeah, he can always TP out. That's the good news, right? It's a Phoenix Weaver lane, so you can Enrage TP away if you want.
Arme, efficiency please. Efficiency on
Dire's
treads.
are scanning.
He's got strength treads on a Drow Ranger.
Oh. He might be afraid of a rotation and wants to get max health. Oh, no, he's
Maybe.
going bottom.
Icarus dive. They're looking for the block. Silent starts the attack. Fissure is out. Laguna Blade. There's the kill over on the Weaver. He knew the rotation was eventually going to come, but FY and Arme, they came down too, and Silent, he just cannot break free with Enrage already burnt. And then who can find the kill? Somnus has a haste rune, not having to burn his ball lightning until now. Chasing up after his fellow mid, the Liar Strike array from Iceberg. He predicted the movement. He has his TPing over so he can get the nice line of stun, but then Nova is thrown out. The Fissure is too far away to connect onto Somnus, so Iceberg will die. It's a big streak to take off the Lina, especially putting it into Somnus. But are they out? Are they home and hosed? Necro's doing his rotation. Level 6 is up. Always Want to Fly needs a glimpse. A level 2, he's out of range, but now he's in range. They drag back the Drow Ranger, and you're just going to scythe them down. Not enough damage to get a straight-up kill from the Scythe, but they should be able to finish the job. They will do so. But what's the cost? Charles next Nova have already moved top. They're taking the tier 1 tower.
The biggest kill in all of that is the Lina dying. That's very important for LGD to get that kill. Not only killing the Lina, who's 4-0 at the time, but Storm got all the gold for it. He was chasing her alone, so 600 gold went the way of Somnus there, and he's got stuff coming out in the courier and looks to get a bonus kill here and Always Want to Fly. Easy peasy. Just a couple of attacks with Overload, and now Treads, and already on the way to his next item, which might be a Kaya or could be an Orchid Rush.
Do you think there's anything else that he would actually try? Like, you like Orchid just to try and control up the Lina?
He could get Yules too against Static Storm. That's a really good tool for Storm. You can outlast the kinetic field and try to run out and then jump away, but I personally am in favor of the aggressive approach here. Like we talked about during the draft, they want something that catches and starts the fight, and I think Somnus with an Orchid will be able to do a lot. He does look to be going for a quick Kaya on the way. Some players prioritize this.
Yeah.
It is a useful item on Storm for sure. One of the few heroes in the game that we see Kaya bought on frequently.
Always Want to Fly is on the hunt. They're looking for Somnus. He's farming up in the jungle. They leave the Observer behind. Iceberg finds the target. Somnus still has ball lightning, and he'll jump down. So they don't find the kill they're looking for unless they get enraged for the glimpse. Somnus hangs around. Fissure, glimpse, they just storm it up. They want that kill, and they got the kill.
Oh, that was so greedy, man. He saw the Lina the whole time. It got pinged out by Weavers. Like, okay, guys, I'll play it safe. And there's 3 low, big creeps. It's like, I can't give these creeps away. And, well, what'd he do? He gave the creeps and his life away. So,
Yep. This now
Not
puts, this puts Iceberg into #1 net worth. He's actually above the Drow Ranger. Obviously, effective net worth when you've got plus 50 damage coming out from Arme into every single hero for LGD.
This should be a bottom tower too.
Yeah. They'll fortify and slow it down. They're grouping up like they want to smoke. They don't have one, however, so what they want to do and what they can do are two different things.
They also have cooldown Static Storm. I think this fight is really difficult to take without that spell. When LGD are set up, that is one of the absolutely most important things that they have to have ready. They need to be able to interrupt the Storm and the Weaver, and that's their best tool for it.
Where are they going? Really feels like Winstrike just don't know the objective they want to take at the moment. They thought about bottom lane, now they thought about top lane. FY will TP in to defend the tower. Iceberg and No Fear nudge in the mid. They've got aggressive vision inside the Dire jungle, so this is the safest place for them to fight. Because they'll know the second anyone TPs to the shrine to come to the north. And as Chalice runs over, he'll cop a slave. That wasn't intentional. They Laguna, they control, but they don't have the vision. He's held inside Shikuchi, and Echo Slam trying to use the Ancients. They'll storm it up too. Man, they really want that kill, and they got him. No Fear will begin his TP out before there's any kind of rebuttal.
Here in Enrage against Ame bottom.
Radiant's middle tower.
Surprising that LGD were not able to respond to that play, actually. It took them so long to kill the Weaver, but nobody was able to
There's a jump coming.
TP and set up.
Somnus has moved down. Always want to fly de-watered. That's why Somnus doesn't have all the vision. The wall will come up because she's ball lightning away. Double TPs are on the way. It's all coming a little too late, but Somnus burnt a lot of mana, and there's the Yule Scepter from Iceberg. Hits the timing right, and they scythe him too. 48 seconds down, Arme's on the run. TP is available. They have no stun up and running, so they need to do enough damage, and they will not. He TPs to the shrine straight into farm.
Sure wishes he had the Reaper there.
Yeah.
That would have been very, very good for Winstrike. I think they would actually catch up to the Drow. She probably wouldn't try to TP there if Reaper was available, but still needs to get the really good juke, and they could have maybe found it. But, oh, it's still a big kill in the Storm, taking him out for so long. The extra death timer is really annoying for him. 15 seconds on level 1.
Downtime, but when he's already finished the Kaya, I think he's very happy for his 14-minute worth of farm. Well ahead of heroes like the Ursa.
It's not the end of the world, especially given how bad his matchup is mid. He's doing okay.
Really surprised just how much control Winstrike has had. They saw the stack of Ancients. That's why Iceberg and No Fear have come over to try and take it. But with the loss of their tier 1 tower on top, actually, they're still got the shrine and they're still got the tier 1 tower at mid. So they'll feel strong around Roshan, but LGD have the momentum of that top wave. At the moment, the control of the jungle near the Roche pit, both their side and Radiant side. Like, can Roche, like, does Sal even go in for Roshan? Like, is it become a target, or has it just become a problem if he gets caught out?
You need to have good wave push already going. Like, this top wave is a problem. It's hard to Roche when the enemy team is set up here. So I think they need to push out the top and the mid waves, and then maybe go for a smoke gank where they try to find a fight with the other 4, or just get a simple pick off and then take Roche. But they definitely should be looking toward it.
Lena out the creep skip. Fiend's grip is up, and Iceberg is down. They were here for the 15-minute bounty runes. They're not going to be so happy, however. They'll get both the ones on the top, but Storm will take the ones on the bottom. The scan came out from LGD earlier than that fight. They were looking around Roshan, probably thinking if Ursa is off the map, where is he going to go? The pit is obviously a big point for him.
Mid lane.
Yep, jump in, keep the vision up. That means they can get the glimpse back into the Storm and Wall. X-Nova wants to try and help out, has the Nightmare. They Echo Slam again, even on a single target. But this Nightmare makes it difficult for them just to finish the job. Now the Scythe will be used. Nova well far away from the Winstrike lineup, as X-Nova wants to keep the chase going, but Winstrike, they're back, they're death pulsing, they're healing.
Yep. Not able to get anything done there. They even expended a Vessel charge from Phoenix. He has one more to go. Obviously a fantastic item to have against Necrophos, so they are well prepared to dealing with him in this mid game, but big kill. Once again, Winstrike are finding a lot of good moves in this game that just give them core kills. They've killed pretty much everything they've done with Disruptor.
They need to finish up. They've only got the totem, however, and he'll take one. Somnus low on mana, but he's high on friends. Chalice and FY, they're there. And that is a 3 kill, 2 for Chalice. And a tier 2 tower.
That was with a dead Drow, by the way. They didn't have the aura. Imagine that with the aura. That would have gone real quick. pretty scary. Oh, Iceberg's being set up on top. They've got the Nightmare. Phoenix is coming in. Doesn't have dive, though.
He's got Sunray, and he's got that Spirit Vessel. Iceberg, well, okay.
I don't actually think that happens. No, it doesn't. If anybody else would have had a TP there, that would have been a kill. Drow, Phoenix, Drow, Weaver, or Storm, I think, could have got the job done on the Lina there. But unfortunately for them, only the support duo was ready to go, and FY came in without the Icarus dive ready. If that's off cooldown, that's a kill.
Well, they did what they could, but the opportunity looked nice. Can't blame him for going for it, but now it's Iceberg's turn to try and find opportunities. Finished up his Shadow Blade, so he can really hunt. Shadow Blade into yours, these supports.
He can solo kill any hero on them.
Yeah.
Nobody on the Dire side has enough health, except, well, if the Phoenix is full health, so it hasn't cast any spells recently, then I think FY can survive, but none of the other heroes will survive a Lina combo here.
Smoke just came out from PSG.LGD.
Dire's top tower
They were
is
just
under
far
attack.
enough away from that Observer Ward in the Dire jungle. But it already feels like Winstrike are grouped up to do the same type of thing. They may catch one hero, which is Lina. Observer and Sentry is down. So Iceberg, he's walking into the vision, straight into a Fiend's Grip. Thought the Shadow Blade would give him a lot of protection, and it gives him none.
It's a great
Radiant's
setup.
middle tower is under
This is the
attack.
kind of plays that win games. You catch the enemy core while you're pushing the tower and accessing Roshan.
I'm loving FY's position. If this fight does begin around the tier 1 tower, he can sprite, he can dive back out again, but he can also Nova right on the back lines, and this just creates a buffer between LGD and Winstrike that they can't overcome. And Disruptor, he can put the wall up, but here comes Icarus diving Phoenix once again, and a long ball lightning, but FY already got the kill.
Now I'm not so sure if they have time to Rosh, actually. Oh,
Radiant's
they will
they-
find a DD
middle
from,
tower is under
for
attack.
Somnus that will help. I don't think they can do it now. I'm not sure if this was the right approach to try to get that dive going at the same time. They anticipated that Winstrike might defend the tower, so sure, this secured the tower, but they also spent a good 15 or 20 seconds diving, and those seconds are not available for Rosh, and Lina responds.
They're also going to lose their aggressive Observer Ward around Roshan, so it's going to be harder to watch where Winstrike is, because it was already pinged out that the Observer and Sentry was there. He was attacked on the other side of tree line, so they know they had high vision. And this Observer Ward they planted defensively from LGD, it does not see this movement into the pit. With no Supernova available, no Fiend's Grip up, it really does feel like the perfect time for Winstrike just to slip him, take Roshan.
It's a really good play from them.
Until always when a fight comes in close, reveals, but doesn't matter. It's done. Iceberg has the Aegis. And they got rid of the Observer Ward already.
Yep.
So does LGD still fight here? Like Nova's down for 30 seconds, Fiends for 18.
Oh, absolutely. They will definitely defend their towers. There's no reason to give anything up for free when you have this strong heroes right now. Winstrike still need to be careful. Sure, you've got an Aegis on Lina, but
Radiant's top tower is
it's the
under
only
attack.
change. There's so much damage still on the Dire side.
They're just using Iceberg as bait.
No.
That's what this all is right now, but they're waiting. 9 seconds until Nova is up. FY is prepping already, and then the double silence. Army's wrapped around the back. Disruption Storm did come out, but no one jumped in. They played the whole range game. A control Nightmare just chases off. Chalice was protected perfectly by X-Nova underneath the Nova itself. Nongrata will be saved by having this Invis rune. No detection nearby to actually see him. Oh, maybe there is
Dust.
now.
Oh, they
The
found him.
dust, it actually triggered, but he was too far up the hill
They
for them to
didn't have
continue vision.
I thought Weaver caught a glimpse of him there, but didn't, so, yep. Well, they got 3 kills and a buyback out of the Ursa. They still lost their tower, but I would say mission accomplished for LGD in this situation. That's good enough, for sure.
And LGD are coming for more. Iceberg's using the Shrine for the moment. Laguna Blade instantly, they just want the Bane down for a minute thanks to Reaper's Scythe, but now Somnus feels he can just jump forward. The Orchid dispelled off thanks to the Yule Scepter of the Necrophos. So they pick him up, throw him down, Light Strike Array. The timing was wrong, so Somnus can jump himself away, but FY, Icarus dives back into the waiting arms of Silent. Always when a fly can't have any joy in this fight until finally they can bring down the Drow Ranger. Iceberg, he's had this Aegis the whole time. It still has never popped.
Oh, someone's out of mana.
Yeah, Silent, you can slow him down with the Earthshock. You got at least the Orchid, but everything else has been popped already. Iceberg will get the double kill.
Great fight from Winstrike in this situation. Was that 4 for 1? Actually? Yeah, it was just flat out a 4 for 1. They didn't have to buy back anyone after
Yeah.
And Iceberg got 2 big kills once again, so that's another 800 gold down his pocket. He's close to his next item. Love to see a BKB in this situation, just so he can mitigate a lot of Storm's damage, mitigate a lot of the Phoenix's damage, or all of the Phoenix's damage. And the only true control they have on him is the Fiend's Grip, and they have cancels for days for that. They have Fissure and Glimpse against the Grip, and Iceberg can play super aggressively if he is to pick up BKB.
I love how many Eul Scepters do they have. Like Necro as well as Lina got it so early on. This Orchid of Storm Spirit looks like it doesn't even do much.
Oh, FY.
And Iceberg's going to find FY. Line Strike Array connects. Support will arrive. No need. Well, he doesn't actually have the Reaper's Scythe. 48 seconds down for the Phoenix. Always like to watch that time when a Necro's on the field.
LGD just lost their whole advantage. They had 5k gold lead and 5k experience, and it's pretty much back to nil.
It's under 1k. The graphs take a while to update. Weaver will have an extra thing, so Chalice actually completed up an Aghanim Scepter. So they'll have his saving grace as the Weaver.
That will be really good against Reaper's Scythe. It's one of the best counters that they can get in this game. You can obviously try to itemize some sort of save items as well, but like Force Staff, just get away from him, or Lincoln's, but the Ag Scepter is very strong. It's one of the big benefits of playing Weaver with Drow. Something I've talked about before is sometimes Weavers go this Ags build, and it's a nice save, but you don't put the same amount of pressure in the fight, right? Like, you don't have those carry items that make you kill enemy heroes, but in this case, he has a free carry item because he has a Drow. So he has the damage to boot when he's going this Ags build, and now he's going to transition into the Maelstrom. So I really like it in this situation. Great save against both the Reaper and the Static Storm Glimpse combination.
That top tower of LGD, Lina just kept pushing it. It was within denier range. You've got another minute left on that Aegis of the Immortal. Don't know if Winstrike can actually force a fight while it's up. 1 minute's not a lot of time. We're just going to go back to heal. But they're pretty grouped. They've got Smoke to seat ready.
Radiant are scanning.
And yeah, they're coming in. They want to try and fight. So watch the counter. 35 seconds before that Aegis will be reclaimed. So they have to move and find the kills during that time.
This needs to go really fast.
Well, they're looking.
Storm is showing.
Playing the bait, jump in, boom, 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 and then time lapse. Being used by Chalice from range, the Nova in the middle of the fight. Who's going to attack it? Ursa, 1, 2, he can't do it, it's taking too long. No, they get through it in time, and the Lina locked down by Fiend's Grip. So while they do get rid of the Phoenix, what is the cost? The Aegis Immortal did pop before it timed back out again, but it won't matter. Totally isolated underneath the Sentry Ward, so Shadowblade gives no protection, no fear, barely finishes his TP out. And now it's LGD's turn to win the fight.
As just Weaver Axe just winning that fight completely.
They never saw it coming.
They didn't. I don't think they realized that Chalice had it, but I think he has been showing top farming some creeps earlier, so if they would have checked his inventory, they would know. But the way Winstrike played that, it definitely looked like they were unaware or didn't think Chalice was in position for that save. But LGD completely baited that one out. They knew that Somnus was going to be very safe with the Weaver protection. And really nice fight from them. That's a big swing. Not only do they get the fight 5-for-1, they also get the fight right before the 25-minute mark, so this will result in 4 bounty runes and the mid-tier 2 tower.
Winstrike's going to have to find different ways to engage now. Like, you can't just jump in like they were and blow everything on one hero, because that Aghanim's Weavers is going to change everything.
It's a really big problem. Ideally, they want to find Weaver, actually, if they can, but it's hard. Chalice's positioning in this game has been very good. He's 8-2-11. Been a very nice game from him. He did very well in lane. He had that clutch save just now. He's doing his job.
Yeah. And all LGD have to do is keep it up.
All LGD.
Oh.
Is anyone actually old on that team? Who's the oldest player in LGD?
FY.
FY?
Would have to be FY. Isn't he like
25?
Is he 25?
I don't know. I
thought he was like 28. He's been around for a very long time.
28, really? I don't know. Well, he looks good for 28.
I'm almost positive that FY is the oldest on the team.
That sounds likely. It's him or Somnus. I don't know how old Somnus is. He's been playing for a while too. What's the first TI maybe played in? Was it TI 2 or TI 3?
I remember him at 2.
Was he at TI 2? Which team did he play for at TI 2?
I do not remember. Stop testing the old man's memory.
I mean, I don't know it either, so I'm not making you look bad.
You can look it up at least. I have to do more important.
Haha, Toby, I was only pretending he started at TI4.
Did you just win to me?
I think he has been playing for it's TI3 or TI2 that was his debut, and people realized this guy's real good. I think that was what it was.
I remember him at TI4 because he played in that never forgettable grand final when he played for VG.
Did he?
Yeah, he played with the ROTK team, I believe.
I will absolutely look this up right now because
Yeah.
I feel like I want to know this.
Always want to fly. TP out. We'll be fine. Have to kill a bug, but he's okay. Yeah, you can look this shit up. I need to observe. Mace found his target. Silent. Fiend script. Can't break free. No aghanims on that Ursa. And that's just a real nice trap. Creep wave was a little bit further up, so we felt confident to push. But they don't have any vision on this southern side of the map. So what's FY got in his history? You got the whole thing there.
Not FY, maybe. His first TI was TI5, and he got 3rd with LGD.
Ah.
He played the Chinese qualifiers for TI4,
Why don't we we're talking about FY then?
he got 5th through 10th.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All right, we were both wrong. I actually thought he'd been playing for longer. I thought he definitely played at TI3. Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Hard to keep track of everything. Well, here comes the high ground siege from LGD. We got
Nice light strike array. Iceberg trying to open up on the draw Ranger. The storm is beautiful. Someone's caught out. And the Echo Slam. No fear. Jumps onto the back lines. They need vision. The sentry wards get planted. Charles then get glimpsed back into the fight. Iceberg finally got rid of the bug too, but the Nova. They need to deal with this one, but no one's attacking it. They're letting it go to try and chase down Arme. Target number 1, but Necrophos, he just can't heal back up again. The Spirit Vessel controlled him. Support arrives from No Fear, so at least he got a little bit more of a lockdown to give space for Iceberg to escape, but the rest of his team is not so lucky until Silent just jumps in, looks for as many bash as possible, still underneath the sentry wall, so Chalice doesn't have that space to survive, or maybe he does up the hill and away. The Spirit Vessel is such a nuisance from FY. He's getting all the charges from the team fight. And Winstrike just cannot heal and sustain during the engagements.
That fight didn't even open well from LGD. There was some miscommunication. They were hesitating on whether they should time-lapse the Drow or Nightmare her, and they end up time-lapsing, and at the same time, maybe he's like, you got me right, buddy. He jumps in, gets static stormed, and then they literally just time-lapse the Drow.
He's found the target over on Necro. Defensive Heal Scepter. Arme's going to be careful. He bought back for that last fight. So Ghost Shroud plus Blink away. Avoids most of the damage. FY, however, cannot avoid Iceberg. BK beat up in the lane. But now Non-Grata and Silent both being attacked by a Somnus. He plays King of the Hill. Up, and will he drag Silent? No, he cannot. The Fissure block was sorted there, but not totally. But this is bigger too. 3 heroes down without a buyback. You brought back in the Phoenix. They can go for Roshan if they want, but there's a bigger target. It's a mid lane of Rax.
They could get 2 full lanes here if they don't find a big kill with the Shaker Lina right now. They
They're
have
already
to
pinging
find
to
one
go
of the key
bottom.
targets. I don't think they have enough damage. There's no Laguna and no Fissure. They're going to try, though.
There's the Fissure, Lion Strike Array. As you said, Laguna's on cooldown for 16 seconds, and you've got time-lapse available always from the Weavers. That yields him up. Somnus comes back down again. FY is the frontline medic.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
It's a photosynthesis kind of heal.
Has fallen.
That's 2 lanes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Iceberg's got Laguna now. So at least he's got some level of damage from this, but you're right. That's 2 lanes.
Radiant's middle
They may be able to
tower
punish
has
as Disruptor comes back to life.
fallen. Radiant's middle barracks are under Radiant's middle barracks.
So should be a little careful about overstaying their welcome.
That's all they came for. I can get all 4 bounty runes on their way out, buy their items, and get ready to fight again, and most likely end the game. It's going to take an extremely good fight from Winstrike now.
Radiant's top
And really, their biggest problem is just this Weaver Axe. Like, it ruins their lineup. It's a very nice pickup that LGD went for in this game. I think a lot of the time you would see Weavers maybe get 1 more item before the Axe. Like, you would get Maelstrom, Dragon Lance, and then it. Oh.
Starting the fight, Fissure is out, Stormlong jump in, he'll go Yules right up towards the air, and then the attack in from Silent Nightmare. It doesn't allow him to finish off Arme. The Reaper side does get rid of Phoenix, so no Nova from him, but the damage output, Arme is a beast! He's the Frost Cannon! Inside the trees, attacking perfectly. And Winstrike can do nothing about it. They cannot reach him. They could see him. They had an observer and sentry. But to see your doom doesn't allow you to kill your doom.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That is the
Radiant's top
tower as
has
well.
fallen.
So once again, the Weaver Axe and the Nightmares. So they're playing really, really well defensively. X-Nova and Chalice in this game. Their saves. That was that one mistake bottom I pointed out, but apart from that, can't really put a finger on their play. They're saving the right heroes at the right time. And this is Bane, by the way, without a lens. So has to be very, very careful with his positioning. Has been doing a great job at being able to save his cores. It's kind of strange when you look at it, right? Like, everybody thinks about Bane as this strong, aggressive hero. You have the lockdown of Aggressive Nightmare, you have Fiend Script, you have a lot of damage, you're a strong laner. But in this game, it almost feels like Xnova's most important role in fights is actually just Defensive Nightmare. It's what he's putting most of his... He's prioritizing it over using Fiend Script. They know that if they get the counterplay, they're going to win the fights. The Radiant side has one burst. They have Lina going in with BKB, and they have Ursa going in with Enrage. When these run out, no way in hell they win the fight out.
Yeah. Like, if they had higher physical damage on the Lina, this would be a different story. And she is going for the Crystallis with the Dragonlance. So if Daedalus is up, then Lina is a little bit more intimidating. But
will they get there?
It's a very hard ask.
Dota Plus claims they will not get there, Toby.
What is Dota Plus claiming? It's claiming the 99% rule.
Yep.
Have you ever seen it say 100?
Yes. Saw it yesterday.
So it does say 100%.
Yeah.
That's a very depressing thing. There's not even a 1% chance that something can go wrong.
I mean, it's rounded up.
So it's what, 0.00001% chance you got?
Bit more than that.
Has to BKB. The Fissure is good, however, trying to catch out Somnus, but my god, you just can't do it. The time lapse is too strong. The Gus is even better, and with the Storm, at least Somnus was locked down, but remember, he was the bait. He was the Aegis to the Immortal, and if LGD take all the cores, they take the game, and that's exactly what they have. Running back into the base, GG is called. LGD, the final nail in the coffin of Winstrike, but it's only game one of this two-game series. There's a 1% chance for comeback.
And what we know about LGD, Toby, is they will lose the next game so they can get their 4th draw in a row.
That's wow.
Well, now they look good.
If they go with tradition, like LGD needs tradition to work for them, like LGD.
Yep, they...
LGD needs to actually...
Apologies, sir.
Yeah, we just have to reposition Sin so he's on the camera.
Hello.
So like LGD want to have the tradition, because if tradition goes right, they're meant to be the top Chinese team at this tournament, and it's meant to be a Chinese team that wins this tournament.
True.
So they cannot break tradition.
This is true. But of course, it is possible to go all the way without being in the winner's bracket in this start. It's possible they could get...
Well, you have to relive the older tradition.
It's difficult. It's doable. But yeah, anyway, both teams in this game, I think, played well. I think a lot of people going into this tournament had not the biggest expectations for Winstrike, but I feel like they're holding their own in their games. Like, this game, they looked pretty strong in many situations. They looked ahead at one point. They pulled back some disadvantages, but really, when that Weaver Axe came in, that's when I feel like the game swung on its head. Yeah. Completely.
There was no answer from Winstrike once,
they didn't
that
have
Axe
the
was on.
solutions for that.
Yeah. Well, they have to find a solution. We're going to get into the lobby for game number 2. No delays day. That's what we're going for today. Nothing's going to catch on fire. So we'll be back for game number 2 in just a bit. everybody. Welcome back. You know, this makes me feel
5 seconds
like I'm-
remaining. Winstrike's turn to ban.
Yeah. How does it make you feel? Tell me all about it, Toby.
I don't want to tell you Jack anymore. I was gonna say it makes me feel like a player because these are the same cameras that the players actually have.
Oh, yeah?
So like you could just pull like a crit. Like, you
Do
get a
this.
really
Show the draft.
Draft.
LGD's turn to ban.
terrific. LGD versus Winstrike. God, we're twats. No Enchantress, no IO, no Undying. We're going down a very similar road, but I'm fairly certain that
Winstrike's turn
we're
to
not going to go
ban.
down that same road of the Drow Weaver. Like, the laning phase won't be as crazy this time around. No easy counter to Necrolite, no easy counter that way. And maybe no even first phase pickup would be nice. Are you okay, Sind?
I think I'm okay.
What's wrong, Sin?
Do you hear me
Tell
in your headset?
I hear
10
you
seconds
clearly.
remaining.
I hear you not at all.
Oh.
That is not English, but I do not hear you
5
at all.
seconds remaining.
All right. Well, I can hear you in the room. You're still next to me.
Okay.
As long as the audience can hear us both, I think we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You're going through on my Dota TV audio, and it looks like
Okay.
production can
Well,
hear you. So
sounds
what
good.
did you break? You probably hit a button down here.
yeah,
Like
sure,
we have
of
we
course
have a
it's
desk
my
of buttons.
fault.
Of
I'm
course
sure
it's your
my
fault.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
LGD's
you're
turn
technology
to ban.
illiterate.
Excuse me. What are you basing that on?
You gotta follow your cable to
Oh,
a fruit
there is a
flavored
cable here that
surprise.
has been unplugged. It looks like so that could.
Oh
be.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
could
you
be
know that
playing a
cable
role.
that's plugged into your headset that's not plugged into anything else?
I
Hang
feel
on.
like
Let the guys who know what the hell they're doing
I
fix.
think this could be the problem.
Yeah.
It is possible. This is a big
10
cable.
seconds
Okay.
remaining.
It probably does a lot. Okay.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So,
at least we got the
on-
mic cable still plugged in, so that's good.
Yeah, just let's let's talk about. I'm in confidence.
All right.
Weaver, the ban out from Winstrike. They don't even take the Necker. They just take out the Weaver.
Yeah.
Probably because
so
they have actually they got second pick. Winstrike have first
Winstrike
pick.
do
So
have
they could
first
just
pick
go
this
the
time.
Necker.
Turn to
It was the
ban.
first pick of LGD in the last game.
Yeah. And
but this
Winstrike could
time
have done it this time too.
neither will be available. Is this a shake? Oh, Chen. Okay. Got a switch up here of tempo. Chen, one of the really strong lane dominators early on. So Winstrike can use this in two ways. They can try to play very aggressive and push, or they can use Chen as just a strong lane support with something like Spectre, which we've seen played by, I believe, both VP and VGJ Storm. And I do
10
want to say
seconds
Liquid
remaining.
as well. I think so. I think all those three teams have done this exact
5
pair.
Out of
seconds remaining.
those options that you gave me, just
PSG
can we take the
LGD
aggressive one? I don't want to see the Spectre being picked up again.
It just feels...
An LGD? Well,
Oh, they're going to grab Clinks. He has a constant influx of Death Pact options when he's near Chen. I would consider this a better counter back in the day when Death Pact had shorter cooldown and shorter duration, because you would have it available much more.
you could
against
actually
Chen.
you should start cleaning up his creeps during the middle of the fight, so
Yeah.
they lose an
10
aura, or they
seconds
lose
remaining.
a utility ability.
And it's
every
also what
single
you
fight.
get, right? But now
5 seconds
the timing is, I
remaining.
think the downtime is 20 seconds. It lasts 65 and has 85 cooldown or something like that. Something tells me that. I don't really play Clinks much, but I remember those numbers for some reason, so I might be right on that.
You were trying
I'm
to rip.
actually just
You
gonna
were trying
quickly
to
check.
you were trying to rip Clinks apart earlier on today.
Let's see. Cooldown 85, duration 65, Toby. Still got it. Still got it. I don't even play that. Well, anyway. Yeah, so Clinks has that. You can stop. That's good enough, Toby. Thank you very much. Please stop. Okay. So 20 seconds downtime. And when you enter fights as Clinks, you generally want the fight to be won within your first strafe. Like, that's the
Yep.
goal. You go strafe, you kill a key target, and the rest of the fight snowballs from there. So that 20-second downtime isn't really that not really that useful against you.
Yeah, but then you
Anyway.
find heroes who are really good at trying to survive. Tiny was just huge amounts of armor, so at least he can potentially survive against the Clink's initial attack. And he
needs
got the hand
levels,
of God from Chen.
But then absolutely.
Yeah, he needs the 3 points up in Kura to get that plus 15
Yeah, or
armor.
2. Just
Or 2.
the first 10 is
It's
I would
enough.
say 10 is a big deal breaker.
10 seconds
5 is
remaining.
not very much, but once you reach 10, it definitely starts making a big difference.
5 seconds
against Clinks.
remaining.
It's also just the fact that Tiny has so much single target damage. He can actually kill the Clinks, and he doesn't care about strafe. So That definitely makes a big difference for him. Having something that pierces strafe. We were talking about this earlier, actually. I just learned today. You learn new stuff every day about Dota. I actually thought strafe wasn't purgeable, but it is. And that means there's certain heroes that can be really, really good against Clinks by just removing strafe. So I would say the counters to this hero is either you have something that doesn't care about strafe, so heroes that have really strong spells that are AoE, that are not targeted, or just hit really hard in melee, or you get heroes that have dispels so that when Clinks shows up with his strafe on, you purge it straight away, and then the hero is really bad. Like, strafe is this hero.
10 seconds remaining.
So you gotta find one way or the other. And Tiny is solid, right? He ticks all the
5
first
seconds
boxes.
remaining.
He has a lot of single target damage. He doesn't care about strafe from a defensive standpoint. So, and he's melee.
Yep.
So it's pretty good.
Yep. One of the other things you're talking about is like the SD, like you do, you purge them, but then again, I suppose that opens up a whole different kettle of fish where Clinks gets an Orchid, runs in, and then that's the hero you kill at the very beginning of every single fight. Because there's no way an SD can set up against a Clinks. No, Spec. What a shame. Well done, LGD.
Oh, they banned Spectre?
Yeah, they banned her. No Lena for LGD either. Probably worried about just the overwhelming damage they cannot deal with. More AoE clearance, so the Chen army would have a nightmare surviving.
5 seconds
Not to mention
remaining.
great Lena. Very great Lena.
Yeah, this Lena ban kind of shows me that Winstrike are expecting the Clinks to be in a side lane, and perhaps they're starting to plan for a mid pick that solves Clinks, which has a bad matchup against Lena. One example of that could be a hero like Ember. It just came to mind for me because he has a bad matchup against Lena. He's also a pretty good hero against Clinks, right? Like lots of magic burst. Just jumps in, chains the Clinks, is super annoying. None of the spells can be dodged by Clinks, and you can get out when he jumps you.
Yep.
Until Orchid, of course, but you can itemize against that as well. But I don't think they're going to get that for Iceberg, though. It's just an idea. He doesn't play that hero very much, I believe.
You need that Clinks 3 position, then we go back into Drow Ranger
10
pickup.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, Drow Aura
just-
is really strong for Clinks, actually.
And just destroy
5
everything.
seconds remaining.
Actually, I got a side question for you. With the Chen pickup, how does the tempo get played? Like, we're in a 2-1-2 laning style meta. So normally you'd have like Chen rotates a creep in, changes up the equilibrium of normally the mid lane, and you're ganking, you're rotating heavily. Do you stay almost out of the jungle as a Chen and still find levels that way in the current meta? Like, what's the strongest way to play Chen and the way most people play it at the moment?
You're one of two things. Either you skill Penitence level 1, and you play with your offlaner, and you just fight until you're level 2, and then you skill Persuasion, and you go and take creeps. Or you skill Persuasion level 1, and you wait for the camp to spawn, get a creep, and go play with your offlaner. Yeah. And you will generally see Chen playing with that. But we have seen Chen play with safe laners today, with the Spectre, for example, because there are very few supports that fight Chen and win, right? There's already a Maiden that's banned who could have Frostbitten the
10
creep.
seconds
What are you
remaining.
left with? Witch Doctor or Enchantress? Like, those are the options. But Ench is
Ench is
banned
gone.
by
5 seconds
Winstrike,
remaining.
and that means the only one that's left now is Witch Doctor.
Winstrike's turn to pick.
Well, they go Vengeful Spirit instead, so heavy negative armor,
Yep.
which is, and of course the damage buff up. Clinks will enjoy this a lot.
The
Now you can battle the Chen.
The one downside is I think using Swap against Tiny is really difficult because you can't really target your allies when they're in toss. So you got to be really careful
10
with
seconds
what
remaining.
timing you're looking for with using your Swap defensively. Offensively, swapping in Tiny can actually be pretty
5
good
seconds
because
remaining.
he doesn't have any way of getting out of trouble, right? Like, if you've got him in the middle of the fight, sure, maybe he can get his spells off, but that's the limitation that he has. Oh, this is a hero I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
I think this is the first Lich of the tournament, at least to my knowledge.
Yeah,
This-
we haven't. Obviously, there's a lot of games going on at the same time, but this is the first Lich in any game that we've cast, in any game we've been watching on the screens at the back.
So when I see the support duo, I don't even know if it's a support duo, actually. This might be a core Lich. I think this could be position 3.
Really?
10
Yes.
seconds
So
remaining.
they pick Lich for 2 reasons here, I believe. One is they're
5 seconds remaining.
they want the plus armor against all this minus armor or the high physical damage of Venge and Clinks, so they can enable their Tiny that way. And I think since they have Chen to be able to control one lane, they can have a really heavy laning focus, and they can have Lich in the other lane. I don't think these two heroes will play together,
So you just have like Lich Tiny off lane, the Chen +1 on the safe.
for example. Or Lich is a core, and you pick a support now. That is a possibility. They might even leave Lich alone if they want and get a truly roaming Chen.
How do you build the Lich? Like, I always thought damage dealing Lich was a bit of a
10
Yeah.
it was a
seconds
meme.
remaining.
Not a fan.
No. So how do you build, like, what's the advantage of
5
really having a
seconds
core
remaining.
Lich then?
He gets levels really fast if you prioritize it as a core, and then you can level up Sacrifice and deny a lot of experience. You can get ahead, and you buy utility. You buy Force Staff, you buy Glimmer, you could buy, like, whatever your team needs, really.
PSG.LGD.
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I just wanted to throw it out there because it is a possibility. I don't think
looks
Lich as a
less
core
likely
is out of
now.
the question.
Like, with Wraith King and Tiny both being picked up,
Yeah, I
like,
think
that's
definitely
not a
support Lich.
mid-Tiny. So I think we're seeing both of our dual combinations from Winstrike now.
Probably Lich with Wraith King and Chen with X. And Tiny could be mid still.
Okay.
That's not out of the question.
10 seconds
But then his
remaining.
matchup would be against, like, Clinks or Mirana. That seems
5
really
seconds
rough.
remaining.
I don't know how bad those matchups really are. It's definitely not ideal playing against ranged heroes when you have 0 armor. You buy Stout, you have a lot of health,
Unless they dual mid.
and Tiny is really good at getting CS. Like, that's the thing. He has so much damage. He can deny against even Clinks with Searing Arrows. You can get denies on the creep, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, they could even dual mid with Lich, something we haven't seen forever. It is possible.
I just remember that's the Scorne strat. CM or Lich. Put him in the mid with an anti-mage, I think it was, though, back
Yeah.
then.
A different time.
In a very different time. But classics, never forget. So, final ban from LGD. Like, we're debating right now if, like we're thinking this is still, like, dual in front of us. So LGD just have to think about the mid matchup that Winstrike would take.
Winstrike's
And they
turn to
actually banned the
ban.
Terrorblade.
Interesting.
That's,
Makes me wonder what they want themselves.
maybe they're worried they don't have enough clearance against the Terrorblade.
I
She's not even-
don't think that was going to
Yeah,
be a
actually,
problem.
Yeah, that isn't.
I don't know.
No way to control Sunder, but even then, like, they've got
They
a
have
lot of stuns and a lot of damage quick.
Fisher and Echo,
10
they have
seconds
Starstorm, and I
remaining.
think Clinks is actually a pretty good hero against Terrorblade, because during Strafe, Terrorblade can't hit you.
5 seconds remaining.
So,
Why Terrorblade then?
not sure.
Is this another one of those, like, why'd you ban the Drow Ranger and not the Invoker moments?
Could be, or maybe everything will make sense when we see their last pick. It's also possible they're just like, you know what, guys, we have a free ban. We don't know what they're going to do. If this goes late, it could get tricky. They have Lich to delay the game, and we are just worried that they can go for a super late gamer like Terrorblade and actually win that way. So
They
you
banned
know.
the Invoker for safety.
Yeah. Not giving maybe that one. I don't think it's going to be maybe Clinks, but it might. He does. I do think he plays it, but in my mind, that's not the kind of hero that Somnus is the best on. I would rather see him on something
10
like the Storm we
seconds
saw last
remaining.
game, or
Uh-huh.
his Lena's great. That's banned
5
though,
seconds
but
remaining.
that type of hero.
Well, on the bright side, you're going to get Nancer pretty quickly because we're into extra time and there's only 15 seconds left for Winstrike.
Yep.
So decisions made under pressure. Something to tie this lineup together. And to give them some... Well, they've already got the momentum killers. They've got the sustain for push, which comes from Chen and Wraith King.
PSG.LGD.
So, the murderous intention of a god. Now bring in Zeus. So
Interesting.
that'll be their mid. Nice reveal against the Clinks. Good burst damage against him globally too. Maybe not so great when he has when he's got the death pact on, because then he's just got so much life.
My biggest concern right now is how does Winstrike win the game? Like, what's the
10
killing blow?
seconds remaining.
Where you just see in their lineup, okay, this is how they end the game. Their pushers
5
are...
seconds remaining.
So they have Chen, right, who wants to hit this timing early and push, but they don't have the best pairings for that. And at the same time, you could also be like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use Chen to enable our super strong late gamer to come online, but they don't have that either.
But don't you get that from?
So-
Don't you get the early push from the Wraith King? Like with the Mortal Strike skeletons.
Yeah.
This is when you start to build up. You build up, and then you've got a Chen army and a skeleton army, and you can take out all the outer towers.
But how do you break the base?
You need tiny. Like that's it. You just get pickoffs. And it's a
You may
Husker.
now select your heroes.
Kind of dangerous against Wraith King's heavy physical damage, but all the magical pop of Winstrike now becomes very useless.
I think this is a really good pick, actually. I think they have very few solutions. Unless Wraith King is really farmed or they get a Silver Edge on the Tiny, I think Somnus is going to destroy this game. This lane matchup is unplayable for Zeus, I'm pretty sure. After level 3, you don't stand a chance against Huskar.
Yeah.
He just stands on your hill, throws Burning Spears at you. When you try to come see us with Arc Lightning, he throws a couple extra. just dominates you. So Winstrike have to think outside the box. They're probably going to dual lane mid with the Lich. You might get to see it here. I think it's the best option.
Zeus and Lich together, go the blue boys?
No, I think Lich is off lane. Zeus, I mean. It's non-Grad on Zeus. I don't think they're... I think they'll put Lich Tiny mid with Iceberg, and then they will... Man, this is awkward.
Against the Clink, so it's like Chen and Zeus off, and then Wraith King on a safe lane.
Who do you leave alone? That's the problem. That's actually a really big problem here. There's nobody you can leave alone, and you feel like you can't put one hero mid, right?
It has to be the Wraith King, but he'll struggle for CS. He'll struggle for life.
All of Winstrike's cores struggle against Huskar mid. They actually can't. You can't put any of these 3 cores there and expect to win the lane. Like even a really strong laner like Tiny, he loses this lane. You just Burning Spears him all the time, and he loses on regen. So who do you put there? If it's not a dual lane, there's nobody who can stand there alone. And if you put 2 there, one of your side lanes is kind of screwed, actually.
Like, can you force a tri lane to try and change the balance of this up?
This one is actually really tricky for me from Winstrike's perspective. Yeah, I'm not completely sure what the best solution is, because I'm thinking in my head, like, how do we enable mid? And if they do put the Lich dual lane, who do you sacrifice? Because one of these heroes will have a really tough time if you do that. So,
well, let's see how they roll out.
Okay, so it seems to be their solution to put Zeus alone in the safe lane and then Lich Tiny mid, and they will put the Chen with Wraith King off lane. I think this is the best they could do, actually, if they do it.
I just love watching a Zeus where he goes 1 Clarity, he's got 3 Mangoes, 6 Tangos, and a Salve, and they're bouncing the lanes again. So Silent and No Fear will go top, Zeus will go bottom, Tiny and Lich will be the mid laners, more than likely. Against LGD's offlane Mirana and VS, Huskar mid, and then Klink's ES is the safe lane. And FY is very much prepared just to fissure everything. I love that sound for the Klinks.
It looks like they changed their mind, too. Right? They looked a bit indecisive on the Winstrike side. First off, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. They're putting Zeus safe lane. And now they just crossed the map without information. They didn't see anything new. They didn't find a hero in the wards. They're like, oh, we need to dodge. It just looked like they weren't completely sure what the better approach was. But now it seems like they, for now at least, have settled for putting the Zeus alone in the offlane.
Oh, he couldn't fissure block him in.
That's a rare whiff from FY. That was actually... it's a better laugh at that one. Laugh it off, man. That was a bad fissure. That was not good.
Where's the aggressive tips? Charles next and over going for the top room, but Hassan's slipping in behind the line, so it's going to be a bit of a trade-off. Iceberg, what's he got? He's just tree tossing around. So LGD have taken 2. Iceberg, he's dead. Yep. You've got Burning Spears, or maybe not. Somnus with the Frost Blast Fissure will lock in Iceberg, but First Blood goes the way of Winstrike. Iceberg gets up the hill. He'll still go down. Non-Grata needs always want to fly to slow him down. FY able to do so. They'll cancel off the salve as Arme lets the Searing Arrows fly, but Non-Grata with a double kill on this Zeus. It's a nice way to start, even though they do give a kill over Arme. And now Wraith King, my lord, they just keep going on these fights. Charles gets into the tree, starts up the salve, and No Fear can't cancel it. So Wraith King TP's back up into the top lane.
I love when there's 8 kills a minute, Toby. That's my favorite Dota. That's the best. Give me some more of this.
Man, you're seeing double.
No, there were 8 kills in half a minute. Or 4 kills in half a minute. 4 kills in half a minute. It's 8 kills a minute. Come on now.
Oh, if they can keep it up, I'll love it even harder.
Yeah, we're falling behind. Now it's only 4 kills a minute.
Oh, nice fissure block again onto Non-Grata. He's got a gap in the tree line.
Yep.
But this Frost Blast early from Always Wanna Fly is kind of hurting him. He needs to get the sacrifice up and running, but they're zoning him out with the Searing Arrows. And Iceberg, oh, good luck, Tiny. He knows this will be a rough lane.
Yeah, they have chosen to leave him alone. I think this is okay for one or two more levels, and then he will be screwed. I don't see it. Like, I don't see this lane working out. I'm ready to be surprised, though. Maybe this works better than I think it will.
He's not getting like Tiny Tranquil, so he can just sit back behind the tower, leech some experience, and just survive.
That's if you play like that.
Great fissure block, always want to fly. He's got a small tree to go into, cuts his way through real quick. And into safety with the salve. FY wants to try and cancel it, won't be able to do so. He knows Non-Grata is just hiding in the tree, so comes in trying to just punch him down. But this is such a great start for Nograda when they've actually got the Mango charges. He's got Lightning Bolt available. FY is low, but not low enough for a kill. But the fact that Nograda got multiple kills early on means they can just spam harass his offlane once he has the Arcane Boots.
He has something to work with. Imagine this lane if he didn't have the 2 kills that he got early.
Oh, it'll be a nightmare.
It'll be
Absolute
real bad.
nightmare. He's burned every single Mango and every single consumable bar 1 Tango he came to this bottom lane with.
Yeah.
X-Nova, you've got Mud Golems. They've got the power of the stuns for Winstrike and the ability to dive onto the tower. If the Mud Golems just go, then X-Nova's going to go down anyway. Because the Mud Golem split, then the double stun's going to be the kill. That's why X-Nova is purposefully not killing it off.
I'm surprised No Fear didn't just keep diving him with that golem into the 2-2. I think it would have killed him. Maybe he wants to let him live and run all the way back to base, feeling like that will be a bigger punishment time-wise, which it will. He was already halfway there, so I think you get that kill if you can. But either way, good pressure regardless in that top lane.
Iceberg is doing the walk of shame right now. He's been out all night and realized there is no way he can hide this. Walks back off the mid lane and Somnus is just free mid. He at least got 9 CS and 5 denies. As you said, like, he's a very good CSer.
But the thing is, you say at least, right? But it's really bad for Tiny.
Yeah.
The Tiny relies on getting a lot, and he just isn't because he can't. He's getting crushed. This lane's over. Actually, he needs help, or they need to swap lanes around, but nobody can really go there. So they're going to accept that Iceberg will have a hard game. And I feel like when you look at how Winstrike play their games and what the recipe for success is, Iceberg being shut down is really bad. I think that's the one player they want to shut down the absolute least in the playstyle.
Great fissure.
Radiant's
Don't know if you'll get the totem stun.
under
FY right next to Always Want to Fly. He can't close the distance. Arcane Boots is still on cooldown for the moment. But this is 1 minute too early for Winstrike's offlane. They're actually both going to have to walk home. They got the Arcane Boost. They spammed out a little bit. They were getting close to killing the Clinks, but now he's back up. And No Fear's not having enough presence on this top lane, but creating space for Silent to farm. So 28 the CS for Wraith King versus the 13-2 of the Mirana, but now they jump in. Magic Missile, it's only a level 1 Starfall, and that means Silent can use his stick charge to get a little bit further away, summon a couple of skeleton minions, cut through the tree lines, trying to juke it hard. Can't juke that hard, but maybe the skeletons as well as No Fear. He's got 3 Mud Golems for the stuns, so he's going after the Vengeful Spirit number 1, number 2, number 3. Way to lock it down, but goodbye, mid.
Yeah, Shaker rotated over from FY, so they get that kill on Tiny. This is looking really rough. It's obviously very early on in the game, but you start seeing the writing on the wall here that Somnus is going to dominate in this game unless Winstrike somehow find a way. Like, I'm looking at their picks, I'm just like, what a godlike Huskar game, man. Like, what do you really solve this with? You've got to try some smokes mid with the Chen, I think, early on before Huskar gets too strong. And he's coming in now, but Somnus already has the ward. Actually expiring in 5 seconds, but it was a nice toss.
They toss him into
Very
it,
nicely done.
and then they keep the control up.
That's how you do it. That was a great kill.
Now they're going after Silent on the top lane. Got a couple skeletons available, but 7 stick charges. He's holding it, and he's made it to the trees. Regeneration and TP's on the way. So Chen's coming in. The Wave of Terror will connect, revealing Silent. And there's just one more attack from Chalice to finish the job.
Nice try from No Fear with the TP and then defensive medallion, but the armor wasn't enough.
This offlane of Winstrike, like, I feel like it's about to hit his power timing. Like, FY comes in through the rear, they're just beating the crap out of Arme for the moment. But it's the Arcane Boots plus the never-ending harassment from Always Want to Fly, and they can't really return the damage. Like, it's a 1-1-1 build, but Frost Armor's enough to cause some problems for Clinks.
He's still doing very well, though. Clinks is top net worth in the game. Sure, they're trying to harass, but he's getting his farm.
He's also getting his 1 charges. Kind of didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So even when they think they have a kill, maybe they don't. All they can do is harass. But this is great for Somnus, right? Continuously just winning up that mid lane.
That gank we just saw was hugely important, though. That was the most important kill of the whole game so far.
Yeah.
They brought Tiny back in the game, basically. He's still behind by 450 against this Huskar, but given the situation, that's pretty good.
Why is No Fear delaying killing the Observer Ward? He's baiting them in. He was trying to force LGD to try and come and fight him, so he just stood on top of the Observer Ward after hitting it once.
Oh, mid.
Well,
Oh,
they
not
find
this
the
time,
toss.
FY.
Yeah, try to rotate in through the side. Iceberg is the one to get the kill.
They're ready for it. This observer ward they have planted bottom in the river area. Would have seen that rotation in from the Shaker. So they were ready for that exact move, and good response from Lich, being in position to help out Tiny grab that kill.
Again, there we see No Fear rotating towards the top. He's got the Alpha Wolf available. And Silent comes in. They want the support. The Penitence is out. The double stun. Make it a triple with that Hellfire. And then, boom! Executed by Silent.
Mortal Strike is such a special crit. It's 300% crit damage on all levels.
Second time within the span of a minute that FY gets picked off trying to gank up on Iceberg.
Yep. You saw them place this fresh sentry that they just placed in the river.
In the river, yep.
They had the anticipation. Oh, they saw the last rotation, so I'm going to put a sentry.
You thought the obs was like here or something.
Yeah, they
seeing
thought the
around
ward saw
corner.
exactly. They thought the ward saw him before, and now they didn't find. They're like, maybe there wasn't a ward. Let's try again. All right, there's definitely a ward.
Yeah, but where do they see it? Like this ward's so deep in, like it sees anyone that walks down the ramp.
No, didn't get it. Iceberg mid.
Waiting for the toss back.
That was one creep in the way for his toss. And Somnus is fine.
For now, 10 stick charges. Oh, he's actually going to jump in using that inner vitality. Avalanche will slow him down. They need the stuns and the damage, and Iceberg. He actually gets the kill, but he'll die for the cause. Way too many Searing Arrow charges on him. Nongrada's having trouble on bottom lane. Arme diving in deep, and Nongrada just loops back around. Even finds the CS in the trees. The Fissure, 33 HP. He can't get away from this. Always want to fly. Gives him Frost Armor, but that won't protect him. And in fact, now Arme can just go into the trees once more. Hunting for yet another kill. But he can't, not underneath the tier 2 tower. That's a little too dangerous. And next Nova's in the middle of nowhere. He's got a full creep wave with him.
Ame, really? Oh my god, he actually got him. That was really nice.
I was watching X Nova die up on top. Excuse, skeleton minion finds him.
Always Wanna Fly just stepped out a little bit again, and then Ame used Strafe, ran into the tower and hit him. The tower misses, obviously, on the Strafe, and grabs himself that kill. Still a good amount of kills per minute. Toby, we still got 2 kills per minute.
Yeah.
I'll live with that.
It's acceptable.
But yeah, Armlet's coming up for Somnus now, and this is when mid is going to start getting really tricky, because these previous moments, sure, they've had enough in the tank to bring him down, but with the Armlet buffer, it's really difficult. They need to get him very low, and then they need to Zeus ult probably for the finisher, because else it's going to be really difficult.
They try and chase down after Silent. Arrow's going to fly. He's kind of at a bit of a choke point, but the arrow flew too far to the left. Expecting him to try and juke it, not just run straight.
How much damage does Zeus ult do when Huskar is really low? Like 50, maybe?
You got magic resistance of 30%, and I think 50 may be a little bit.
He gets a lot of magic resistance when he drops low.
He's jumping in. Iceberg just throws him away.
It's got to be more than 50, you're right. It's probably like 100 after reduction, something like that. 80 to 100 would be my guess. 80? Let's say 80.
Okay.
That's still, you know, like the way they're setting up. I know I'm talking about this a lot, but this really is the centerpiece of the whole game, because the last pick in is one of these trump card last picks. So we have to look at the win condition for the other team and how they solve it on top lane.
Wraith 5 Blast is out. Here comes the extra support. Wraith King doesn't have the reincarnation. It already got burnt previously. He's got stick charges, takes the arrow, and now Nongrada will arrive as well. He has the Thunder God's Wrath. They got drop chance a little bit lower for this to actually find a kill. And instead, they just turn around. They go after the Zeus. Thunder God's Wrath comes out. Charles still too low. Always want to fly. He's finished the job. That one attack is not enough. Stick charges give the life back into the Mirana.
I think those stick charges and the level up, actually.
Into mid. They jump after Somnus. They got double Alpha Wolves. All the crits they could possibly bring in. The stun from FY creates space, and then inner vitality. Somnus jumps in again. He's just armor toggling its way through this. The Fissure is perfect. A double stun. And Winstrike are falling apart at the seams.
That was actually the exact moment where Zeus ult would have made the difference. This is how I imagine it's going to go. Somnus is going to play and get low from Tiny's combo, but he's going to armlet toggle, turn around, and win the fight. Even with Chen creeps there, they couldn't bring him down. So they need that very little bit of extra damage that Zeus can bring, but obviously he was dead and had already used Thunder God's Wrath in the top fight, so Somnus felt really confident going for that play. And now we're starting to see a ridiculous lead. This is getting out of control. 6,000 gold, minute 11. Yeah, Somnus will, this is even, they've only taken 1 tower. They're going to take 2 more now. They're getting the mid tower and the top tower at the same time. And this lead for LGD will be truly scary. Winstrike is...
They're just trying to delay it. Like, they're frost armoring up everything they possibly can to slow things down. But you got no initiation. Like Iceberg, like he's going Shadowblade to begin with. Obviously wants to find some way into a Silver Edge. But when FY can fissure into an arrow, well, I'm kind of watching the kill that they're not getting, which is top lane, which will be the reincarnation. And double support arrives, so VS and Huskar die in the meantime, but then here comes Nongrada. The Echo Slam out from FY, that's not enough damage. It's going to be 3 kills going the way of Winstrike. What the hell happened in the mid?
They got a really good Chain Frost off onto the Huskar. He got stuck between creeps. They tried to save him with the swap, but there was enough in the tank there. But still showing signs of life here. I need a couple of more plays like this because, as you see when you bring up when you look at the hero net worths, just the graph is one thing, but the chart is scary. We have not seen Ame leave bottom yet. Just wait for that.
Get away from me, Somnus.
Yep. At least Tiny has that play. There goes the tower.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Ame's been having the time of his life, like on the bottom lane. And that's, oh, hello, Courier, Iceberg. One punch dropped it to 10 HP.
If he had a tree, he would have one-shot it.
And he's going Maelstrom. Whatever happened to the old days of Desolator Clinks?
I don't know if I like this that much. Maybe he wants it against the Chen.
Well, they're coming over for Roshan. All 5 Furious from LGD, 13 minutes in, looking to secure it. And Winstrike, they'll smoke up. They're coming to try and contest. Silent doesn't have reincarnation. It's on cooldown for another 2 minutes. Roshan actually stunning up Huskar. So he's really low, looking to try and fight. Arrow, he'll kill off the Wild Wing, so say goodbye to a little bit of armor for Winstrike. So Thunderbolt around, Hellfire Blast, gets the VS low, double Fissure stun, and in comes the Centaur. The toss, the stomp, the timing was a little bit off, however, and already Ame's found his first real target, maybe being chained up. There's the Hand of God, but they don't see him. X-Nova just swaps out Ame, gets closer so he can stun over, and now that Chain Frost bounces around back into something that's not enough damage, however. Silent, still no reincarnation, so this is a death for him. And LGD, they just seem to be just picking them off one by one. The VS finally died, coming a little too close to the tiny toss range. But 4 heroes down for Winstrike, no fear, barely surviving.
Both teams had that nicely set up with vision, so that was a pretty even. That was pretty even terms, right? They both had good vision in the area, but the one thing that Winstrike were missing was a sentry for the Clinks, and that one thing was kind of the difference maker. He ran in, he found the first good kill, and survived, and
boy, no way to survive! One charge from Ame, barely keep him alive. Meanwhile, Somnus never came out of the pit. Armlet toggling while Roshan stunned up by arrows, and now has the Aegis the Immortal, exactly what a Huskar wants. 14, 15 minutes in, Aegis up, Armlet already done, and well on the way to a Halberd.
Yeah, I think he wants this Halberd mainly against the Wraith King. Against that big crit, get the evasion against the skeletons, and against the Tiny.
What?
It's the default build for Huskar too, so there's nothing out of the ordinary about getting this item. It's just really high value, lots of good stats. The evasion is great for Huskar to enable you to toggle. And I gotta say, man, I'm looking at Winstrike's lineup, and all the hope I see is they have to just fight them. I don't think they can split their way out of this one. I don't think they can be cute and pull off something where they manage to force a fight.
How they force a fight, they can win when you see someone like Ame just do this. Like he's underneath the dire sentry ward that was already planted. Yeah, it's nighttime vision. But my god, Lich can't survive. Chen won't be able to survive. As Somnus just jumps on him and no fear burns to death. And Iceberg just watches. He's got a Shadow Blade available, so he can go for initiation to work with Silent. So they are here to fight. Reincarnation may burn. Nongrada walks past the smoked up heroes, now putting in the observers. Avalanche toss. They find the first kill. They need to kill off Huskar. Silent looking for that crypt. They have the extra damage arriving from Nongrada, but in the back lines, the Lich can't reach him. Nongrada begins his TP out. Silent, he took a while and actually didn't do his. So up the hill won't work either. Ame will arrive, and Silent unwillingly is going to be burning this reincarnation of his. Or maybe not, he's out of mana.
Nice play by him.
He actually switched to strength treads, right? So he ran out.
And he used to stun.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
Would have been such a waste if it burnt.
Yeah. It's still a long cooldown at level 1, so nice heads-up play there. Well, they got rid of the Aegis. That's not that bad, actually. This Aegis could have resulted in racks if things went worse. So at the very least, Iceberg and Silent got rid of that one. But top lane, somebody's godlike.
What is he? He's 904 on the clinks.
He's close to BKB.
And then none of that magical damage that Winstrike have been using to find kills is going to work on him.
They actually can't kill him. When he is death packed up and BKB'd, I don't think they have damage. They have 1 or 2 hits from Tiny and a 3-throw, and 3-throw? Tree throw? Welcome to 3-throw airport. And they have the crit from Wraith King.
Alright, Chalice chasing Nongrata. Needed the arrow to connect to really make that work.
Silent. Dodged the stun with Strafe, but now it's getting a little bit awkward. This is a huge kill if they have the vision. They
Now
will
they got
Thunder
it.
God. Nice play.
Yeah, he doesn't have the mana to really help out. Meanwhile, Charles is dying on the bottom lane. They chain frost.
Great kill.
So always want to fly, however, is the man that claims 914 gold. But you'll take everything you can get now.
That was a super good execution. It's a shame that that fly got the kill, but it's it was just nice to see the way they chained that and set that up. They used the Zeus ulti to get vision for the stun from Wraith King to give time for Lich to get there with a sentry. There's really good communication in that moment from them. But like you said, they lost Tiny at the same time, so it's a bittersweet feeling. Finally we kill the Clinks, but it feels like nothing in this game is free. It's never free.
There's always a cost to it. At least I always want to flag us something to help out the team. Like he finished up a buckler with the money he got.
Yay.
Yay. At least they just build up the armor, build up anything you can. Iceberg walks right over the top of Chalice. Chalice under the cover of an Invis rune. As Dire sentries are down, but they don't actually have... Yeah, they're not finding any observer wards there. That's what they're kind of hoping for, but they look towards the mid. The wraparound from Winstrike that can come from behind. Hand of God trying to keep Nongrata alive as Chalice left in very, very deep. And no more charges available. FY is out of range for the fissure onto Always Want to Fly.
That was 3 leaps, but worth it for the Zeus kill for sure.
Is Somnus egging his own teammates on? Chicken! Didn't want to dive.
I don't think so. He's been using it pretty randomly across the games I've seen. He's been using it after they lose fights and stuff. Maybe he's just like the sound of chickens, you know? Who doesn't? Eggs are great.
Where's the Phoenix again?
Eggs are
So
great.
now you got Live Steal onto Somnus. Not that it was hard enough bringing him down, but 15% Live Steal. Looks towards Iceberg, but they find a better target. Always Want to Fly, Wave of Terror, and the arrow is right on the money.
In the line.
Right in
And
the
Arme-
empty space.
And Arme
between
finds
his
another
claw.
target. Silent has no reincarnation. Up the hill, strafe, strafe, strafe. Boom, boom, boom. Silent, toggle, toggle, toggle. Need a little bit more, just a little bit. Just a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
Radiant's
Got
middle
it.
tower
And then a little
is
bit more
under
again.
attack.
And then 5 seconds for a TP.
Yeah. Okay, a lot more.
Yeah.
A little bit is an incorrect value.
Mucho more.
Mucho, mucho. We are not going back down that road. Oh, Nongrata can't find his rune. He's like, wait, wait, wait. Someone's down here. No fear. You should be really, really careful because you're going to get one of your creeps taken away from you. And then 1, 2, 3, almost a 4th not required from Arme.
Kill this whole army too.
It takes so long for a Chen to build up. All gone.
Yeah, it might even be impossible now. It's going to be difficult for him to get out on the map and find creeps. This is one of the downsides to Chen is that this hero is not good when you're losing most of the time. In the past, you had the send back as the solution. Like, you could still be really impactful with that, but now that it's a 6-second delay, it's really difficult to do defensive plays. You want to play aggressively, you want to play from ahead. If you don't have creeps, what do you really offer?
Nongrata can feel the tingle. Something's not right. Somnus was ready to jump him in mid, and FY's got his Blink Dagger ready to go too. I'm trying to find the bright side right now for Winstrike, and
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's just rough. There are games like this.
The probability is like you're 20 minutes in and you're already at a 2% chance to win.
Yep.
That's,
And that graph has been up high for a while.
And Iceberg's dead again. He can't even try and turn onto him. Arme has a BKB he can pop if he wants to. So Thunder God's Wrath. All right, Iceberg knows. Iceberg knows.
Run!
In Invis, that's the one way you can have to escape.
Well, that worked.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, Nongrata. Thanks. Oh, nice arrow. Chen in trouble. The Hellfire Blast just tries to create a little bit of space as Chalice leaps away. Actually, you finish the medallion onto a Chen.
Oh, he's playing without boots? I didn't realize. Playing medallion and trying to get an eggs. Speaking of eggs, I had Eggs Benedict and an omelet this morning. It was really nice.
Oh, it's not eggs. That's eggs.
Eggs Benedict?
Eggs Benedict.
Come on now. It was great.
Well,
Actually,
obviously, you upgraded from a normal omelet into something which was overpowered, so yes.
it wasn't just Eggs Benedict, okay? It was Eggs Benedict with smoked salmon.
Oh.
It was smoked salmon Eggs Benedict, and then
know.
I had a double cheese omelet with ham and cheese. And well, with ham and tomato, sorry. Not with ham and cheese. That would be triple cheese.
I know exactly what you're talking about, too, because we had that. Oh.
It was great. Yep, living that NA life for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sin is going to be a real fat guy.
Yep.
Moonlight Shadow being used, and did you bring detection, Winstrike? Did you also bring protection? Iceberg on the way
Good
out.
fissure.
What a fissure. FY's positioning is brilliant. Cannot wait for him to play against EG later on. Winstrike, they just cannot find anything in this game, and they'll lose their mid.
Winstrike cannot wait to play against anyone else later. You just want to get out of this game. It's getting harder and harder. This is a buyback from Lich, but they're missing the Zeus for 30 seconds, and Somnus is feeling really confident here. They could fall back to
Silence
Roche.
getting something, or is he? Jump down, stun, and well, you can't armlet toggle this kind of power. There's Fissure available. Here it comes. Then the totem follow-up. It'll keep the stuns going, and Silent only now could turn on the armlet. He'll go down, back inside the base. You may as well call it right now. You're 23, 24 minutes in. Always Want to Fly is burning inside of his own fountain, but he has the regeneration at least. And GGG, just in case 2 were not enough. Winstrike, no, this
Good
game
Gucci game
is over.
Yeah. GG. It's one of the things we talked about yesterday going into this tournament is that in this patch, there will be games where you have this. I mean, it's been like this for a while in Dota, but Dota is very lane intensive right now, so you will have situations where you just get this last pick that solves your laning so well, and the enemy team is just struggling, right? Like, this game for me really came down to Winstrike can't fix mid.
Yeah.
And that hurts, because there's a Huskar there who's going to take all the attention and just take over the map, get Roche. And yeah, when it's so much about the laning and you can't solve the laning, games will be really difficult and will be.
And it's not a lane you can really fix in this current meta, because the 1v1 is a 1v1. There's no hero to really rotate in and help out. And when they do come, they come for a small time, and that's when FY, I think, he for me is like one of the highlight players just to make things work. It's almost more pressure on these fours to find the right time to leave the lane.
Yeah.
To let your side laners have the space to not die, still find their farm, but then still influence the mid.
Absolutely.
Such a small window.
It is, and well, we were talking in the draft, like, can they maybe solve this problem by putting a dual lane mid with Lich? Like,
Yeah.
I would have liked to see it. I don't know if it would have worked better, but
it would have been
like
it would have been something. Like their Lich Zeus only looked really good because they got the double kill with the first blood included.
Yeah.
Like that's when I actually could stand toe to toe with the safe lane.
And I kind of liked what they looked like they were going to do in the start by putting Zeus in the safe lane alone. Be like, okay, this is going to be hard. We know it's hard, but there's a bigger problem. You need to look at the greater good. If we can somehow shut down Huskar and give our Tiny a game, maybe Zeus can come back and be an influence later.
Yeah.
Instead, they end up with this Tiny who, I think he did an admirable job, actually, Iceberg. But he was playing from behind, and when Iceberg is playing from behind, this team, especially with this draft, who makes stuff happen in this game if Tiny has a bad game?
And Iceberg was pretty far behind. Like,
can you really do?
He still did some decent damage. Like he still got like 12.5k worth of damage, but it was nowhere near enough to hit in. He couldn't find the opportunities to initiate. And well, LGD looked good.
Yep, they got their first 2-0.
They did. They finally cracked their vice. So 2-0 for the first time. That means they don't win TI, right? But
is that how it works?
That's not how it works.
They don't win TI.
But they'll be back, and so will we, actually, to cast that game. So
after a break?
Yeah, after a break, we're going to go find some Eggs Benedict.
Oh, I hope they have Eggs Benedict for lunch.
That would be fantastic. And I got a no from the producer.
That's a negative?
We have no Eggs Benedict. It's a breakfast food, not a lunchtime food, Cinderin.
I could eat that all day. I could eat that all day.
Yeah. And then we'll need a wider lens camera. But we'll come back. We're going to be jumping streams. I lost weight. Look, I lost weight. All right?
I didn't. Cut to break.
Bye.